Jesus said to his disciples, "I have set you an example." Well, I grew up and grew in faith at Aldersgate Methodist Church in Cleveland, Ohio. This church modeled for me what it was to be Christian and to be Methodist. We met together, we studied together, we worshiped well together, and we worked for social justice. We were very involved in the civil rights movement. One summer, as I was a junior in high school, I was asked to work at VBS, and of course I said yes, and I was assigned a group that really nobody else wanted to take on. They were 6 African American girls of middle school age. We spent that week, I'm not sure what we did in the lesson part of it, but we learned to love each other and respect each other for who we were. My call grew out of that respect and love for other people.
God has used my stubbornness for His glory. When I complained about another dumb craft at a leadership retreat, but I painted my Bible cover with the cross, the nails, and the dripping blood. Later, I volunteered at VBS and was told, "See that group of rough kids over there? That's your group." And my Bible cover mesmerized them. It was an open door to discuss Christ's ministry and His death and resurrection, and it planted seeds for the desire to read God's Word. Embrace Church in Lexington embodies servanthood, where a stroke survivor welcomes the homeless with hugs before a meal and worship, and where Common Good, a K-12 after-school program, has schools calling the church looking for kids. Servanthood means showing up, being available to partner with God, and staying the course and sharing God's joy.
I'm having quite a few remember when moments. I was Sammy the sheep for VBS early in my ministry. My shepherd looked at me, laughed, and asked, "There's nothing you wouldn't do for those kids, is there?" That question inspired me, do anything to show others Jesus Christ. How can I say thank you enough to the people who encouraged me as I struggled to please God and serve the bride of Christ? The biblical role model that epitomizes for me servanthood was Barnabas, whose name means son of encouragement or encourager. My goal was to encourage and support. God has been with me. The next part of my journey is unclear. I know that rarely will it include clerical robes and suits, and will include Hawaiian shirts and blue jeans. Ministry for me remains the same. Encourage people and do anything to show others Jesus Christ.
In 1981, Denise and I started the journey to answer God's call upon our life. The only formal training I'd had at that point was what I'd learned in a week-long licensing school and what I knew from growing up in a Methodist church in rural Harrison County. So I was appointed to a 2-point charge, and I was greener than grass and dumber than a rock. For 38 years now, I've been receiving appointments from the bishop and the cabinet. The last 12 of those years, I've been serving as a president at the Methodist Home. The whole journey has been a continual learning process. Well, I think I'm slightly smarter than a rock now, but I don't want the learning to stop. I want the growing to continue on. I do believe that people still need to be loved, and my call is as fresh and real to me as it's ever been. So I'm going to be about loving people. Thanks a bunch for the journey.
What a joy to reach this point in ministry, that of retirement, that of stepping away from full-time ministry, but never stepping away from the love and service of the risen Christ. I'm grateful for the wonderful men and women, lay and clergy, in the Kentucky Annual Conference with whom I've shared so many years on the local church and on the district. I have been blessed tremendously and been touched, and I hope would like to think that I have touched some lives in regards to this as well. So I say to you, continue to be strong in the Lord, continue to not only believe but to serve, and may God continue to richly bless you and your ministry. It's my heart's desire and prayer for you.
I'm so grateful that God called me to be a pastor and to allow me to be a servant. It's in this role as a pastor that I've come to know some really incredible people in the community who, through their actions, taught me what it meant to be a servant. I've been blessed to see people who faithfully and consistently serve the church and serve the community through the gifts that God had given them. I think of people who worked tirelessly to make Upward Basketball successful, people who went with me on long trips just to make sure that I didn't have to go by myself, and people who prepared potluck meals and mopped kitchen floors, and often other folks in the church didn't even know who had done that. It was in these people that I learned that when they saw a job that needed to be done, they did it without any recognition. My life was changed because of people like that.
I want to say thank you to the Kentucky Annual Conference. It's been a joy and a privilege to serve here in my 28 years of service in the United Methodist Church, 23 of those being in the Kentucky Annual Conference. Just very thankful for all the churches we've served, all the people we've had the privilege of walking beside and serving with. So many wonderful, wonderful times, and we are very grateful, also grateful to the conference for our sign language and deaf ministry, being able to do that. It's been a great joy. The Lord is certainly not finished with us in ministry. We're just being called to a different mission field, and so to Him be the glory, and we are grateful.